Okay, guys, welcome. It is, I always have to look. Oh, November 17th, Monday night team call. Welcome, everyone. We were just talking about how it gets dark and we get tired, and at least that's what happens to me. But tonight, we're not going to be tired for the next 20, 30 minutes, and we're going to talk about any kind of, okay, so it's November, right? Holidays are coming. It's easy to get a little down because maybe some clients aren't coming as quickly as you want them to. And it's that time of year. And I'm just going to be honest with you. When we keep telling you don't worry about getting clients, you really have to not worry about getting clients right now. It really is about getting the word out. I promise you, everything's going to be okay. You're still going to get people, too, that want to start on Thanksgiving. Like, I know people that started on Thanksgiving, not even lying. So there are people that are still ready, but the majority are going to just not be ready right now. But they're connections, and they will come when they are ready. So I would like to just kind of have this be an interactive call of opening it up. Just unmute yourself or raise your hand or whatever, and I can call on you. But just with some, what are your blahs right now? Like, what's snagging you? What's your stinking thinking going on? Let's unstinkify you. Okay, Shelby.
Am I turned on?
You are. You're on, baby.
Well, I've been putting the word out, and it's not that's the problem. The problem is the clients that I have are quitting because of Christmas holiday and wanting to put their money other places. And I totally understand, but how can I help them get through the holidays and not lose them as customers, and they may come back later?
Very good. That's very good. Okay, so this will happen. People will have full orders that normally, and now they're like going down to the bare minimum of 150, or they're even less than that, or they don't order at all. How can you support your clients through the holidays without having them quit altogether on you? Because honestly, in their best interest, it's better if they don't quit and get that mindset, okay, I'm done with this diet right now, and I'm going to go full bore into holiday season, and I'm going to make all my favorite cookies and breads and pies and whatnot. Okay, so here's this is great. So instead of saying, okay, well, call me when you're ready, you're going to say, okay, well, let's talk about this. How well have you done? Like, talk about all their progress that they've made, all their healthy habits that they've started. You know, how can I help you continue these and still eat 6 small meals a day so we don't gain all this weight back, but maybe let me help you maintain through the holidays. So I would always encourage them to, even if they can't do a full, 5-in-1 order because they're saving money for Christmas or whatever, maybe they can do a smaller order and at least use 3 of the replacement meals, like a 3-and-3 maintenance kind of thing, to get them through the holidays. Better than that would be, okay, if you don't want to be on the 5-in-1 through the holidays, let's do a quick transition first. People may not want to do that. That's what I would start with, is their transition them first, and see if they're willing to do that. If not, then see if they'll do a 3-and-3 with you. Just say, that's going to help you, keep your blood sugar stabilized. We can work through chapters 9 through 12. I think it's chapter 10 that has all the different fueling options I can help you work with. I'm still your coach. I will always be your coach. So I want to help you maintain at least through the holidays. How does that feel? How does that sound? And then get their input and go forward with that. That way you won't lose them entirely, and they're going to be a lot happier, come January when they haven't gained it all back. Maybe they only had her up 5 pounds instead of 25 or whatever, because they didn't go full bore. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Cool. Any other comments on that or any other suggestions? Okay, that was a good one. Who else has one?
I'll ask mine.
Okay, good. Carrie?
So I've had a few people contact me regarding my focus group posts, And so I messaged them back, asking them when would be a good time to visit with them, whatnot. And then immediately they go to, well, how much is it going to cost?
Okay.
So right there, then it's that red stop sign goes up for me, kind of, and it's like, ooh, how am I going to, you know?
Okay.
And I know we've talked about this before, and I mean, I even had an interested script last week, and you know, it was great when I was telling her, oh, it's only $2 a meal, blah 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 blah. But then when we got all done, she was ready to sign up, and she's like, well, how much is it going to be for, you know, the whole month? And when I told her, it was like, oh, the skids went on.
Okay. Okay.
So it's for me, it's all that cost. When that cost thing comes up, that's where the red stop sign goes up, and it's like, oh dear.
Okay. We're all savvy shoppers, right? You want the best for your dollar. And before you purchase anything, you want to know what the price is. Most people, right? So I don't look at that as a red light, but just as someone that is a savvy shopper. So I would tell that person that messaged you back, well, what's the cost? And it's very honest. It really depends on your health goals. You know, you have no idea what their health goals are right now. You don't know what it's going to cost them. Maybe, and the 5-in-1 is not our program, right? That's one option. So if they can't afford to do the 5-in-1 right now, a 4-in-2 or a 3-in-3 is still better than what they're doing. And for someone that says, whoa, you know, $350, $380, whatever for a month, and they say they can't afford it, I always have them go ahead and keep track then for a week. What are you spending on your food? And not only food, but any fancy coffee drinks, you know, any stops that you make through the drive-through that you don't tell anyone about. The vending machine, you know, all those little things, like whatever you put in your mouth, how much does it cost, and write it down. And let's just see how much you spend a week on food. It's eye-opening, you guys. People don't think about it like that. I honestly think we save people money and get them healthy at the same time. No, we don't buy all our groceries at once. I don't go to the grocery store and buy a month's worth of food. But if I did, this would still be cheaper. And you feel better, and you're gonna maybe get off medications or whatever their health goals, you know, wherever their health is at. Does that help? Kelly.
Just really quickly, I've had this happen to me a lot of times before, and something that I have done with people, you know, with this incentive, because it's like 3-in-3, that's like $170 order or something like that, right? So it's not the $250 for it to count for the incentive. But something that I did was, you know, had someone sign up who's doing a 3-in-3. And I told her about the free week of food and said, you know, if you do the $250 order, I'll help you spread that food over 2 months. And that's what she's doing, and she's really happy with it. And she is losing slower than other people, but she's okay with that. So that is something too to think about, like if they might be willing to, you know, make the food last longer and you still get that credit. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. True. And she's talking about the incentive through Take Shape for Life, you know, the 5, 10 or whatever, 5 new clients per month.
But a lot of times if I tell, you know, when I've used that, they've said we can make a plan to like make it last longer, you know, suddenly it's okay, you know, so, and they've really jumped on board with that. So it's just something to consider when you're talking about cost.
Good.
I have a little bit more to add to that.
Sure.
When I know that I talked to you about it a lot, Christine, I've talked to Pam about it too. When I presented it to people as, you know, it's really shopping at a different grocery store, I tried to justify the price for them before they even really said anything. It was almost like I tapped the brakes for them and they really pushed the brakes. But when I got to thinking about it, and I've talked to my mom about it too, I would have paid twice as much for this program. I mean, I paid more for a program where I ate 500 calories a day. That's ridiculous. So, I mean, I don't know what other programs are out there, but I know that there are a lot that cost more than ours, that aren't as successful as ours, that don't have what ours has as far as medical backing goes. And so I pick a few highlights and I really let people know. I mean, you know, I go into it with, it's like, hey, it's worth it. Like, I would have paid, like I said, twice as much for this. And if you stand behind your product, our product, whatever, if you stand behind it and believe in it, they're going to see the benefits to it.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to halt as fast. And I use the optimal kits because they save $85. If somebody sees, hey, I just saved $85, they think they just got a great deal, and they do. But that's one thing that I've had a lot of people that have jumped on it when I said, you know, I can get somebody started for about $320, $325 shipped. That's a big deal to them. I mean, it gives them both books and a month's worth of food. That's a good deal.
Mm-hmm. Good. Thanks, Brooke. Something else, if you feel like you want to throw this out here, I know a couple coaches that do this. They tell them that, their food's free. They're paying for their services. Like, I cost $300 or $350 or whatever. Food's free. Because do you know how much people pay for life coaching? Or to go somewhere to get support? Like, even, we have clinics. And when people sign up to go to these clinics, they pay thousands of dollars. And they're traveling to these clinics, getting tested and all that stuff. And what a pain in the butt. And I'm free, and I'm going to call you and check on you and email you. And I have a Facebook group. And so it's all about perspective. So good. What else we got? Come on, I don't see any green lights over your heads. No, everybody's November is going awesome.
It's good, but I have one. When I am messaging, like on Facebook, I've been kind of flirting and whatnot, but I have one guy that I was talking back and forth, and when I mentioned something, if I could, contact him, that was it. He didn't respond. He was like, oop, breaks.
I think you were flirting a little too much.
Maybe, no. No, I think it just, I don't think it was enough messages. It was like 2 messages, and then I hit him with a question if I could, contact him. And it's not somebody that I knew real well, so maybe he was just like not comfortable. So I don't know. Not a big deal. I need to brush that off and move on with the others. So
yeah, you do. He might have been in it for the wrong reasons.
Barb is single.
I know. That's funny.
He was all excited. She was chatting with him, and then.
Yep. Oops. Sorry.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, you're going to have those. Just know you're going to have those. So good. You got that one out of the way, right? The next 10 are going to be awesome. Mm-hmm.
Could you maybe come back with another message? I mean, I don't know. Did he just say, no, you can't? Or did he just not respond?
Not respond. So I did message back just something about dancing and blah, 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 and no response on that either. So so I got to let it go.
Oh, okay. Well, sometimes if they don't respond for a while, I will go back and say, hey, I was just going to ask you a 5-minute question about sending you an email. And they come back and say, oh, okay, that's no big deal. And so that's maybe something to try if it happens again.
Barb, is this somebody I know? Because we've worked in a tag team really well before with these dancers that we both know.
Do you know Klaus?
Sort of. Yeah, we'll talk about him.
Okay.
Cool. Good. This is your time, you guys. What else you got? Those are good.
You know, something I was afraid of, and Kelly and I talked earlier about something else, but she said she kind of pushed me along. I was getting my chatter in my head was, oh, who's going to start? It's Thanksgiving, and then it's Christmas, and everybody's spending money on other things, and blah, 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 blah. And, you know, the chatter in my head was, I'm not going to get anything done until I can start pushing for New Year's, because I know New Year's should be a pretty, I would think, big, easy time to be getting people to come on board with us. And for whatever reason, Kelly and I talked about a lot of things that day, because it was actually about taxes that I had asked her a question real quick about. But we just ended up chatting, and, you know, she was like, no, this is the time. Start building that. Build, 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 you know. And lo and behold, I've had the biggest November of any of the months that I've coached yet. I think I've signed up 7 or 8 people now this month. And I mean, aside from my first 2 months when I went kind of like insane and it was crazy, you know, she's right. You know, you just keep talking, because I didn't know where people really were, you know. In my world, shoot, Christmas is coming. I've got money to spend. Shoot, like all these things that are going on in my head about me are not necessarily everybody else's story, you know. You don't know. Somebody might want to look really great before Christmas pictures. You don't know, you know.
That's a very good point, because you were putting everything in your head that was going on onto everyone else before you even talked to them. Prejudging what they were going to say before, just because that's how you were feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Very true. You know, and it's you can flip it around. Yeah, people are spending money, right? Why not give somebody the gift of health? I mean, that's an awesome Christmas present. Help somebody get started on their health. I think there's probably, I know we've done that in the past. I'll have to look in the files or something, but something about the gift of health where we
did that certificate, Christy. I just made it like 2 months ago. It's in our files.
Okay. We'll have to bump that back up.
I think there's another one too that Denise did last year with the gal that had the bow tied around her waist.
Yes.
I think there's that one too.
That would be good. Yeah, it's all about just like thinking outside the box, you know, and getting creative. And what do people need right now? Well, they're thinking Christmas presents. So there you go. There's your angle, you know. Maybe it's not for them, but maybe they want to give a loved one a Christmas present. Help them with their health. And someone that you're talking to that can't afford it right now, who on their, you know, everybody makes a Christmas list, right, for your relatives and stuff like that. Maybe that's what they want for Christmas. And just put a different spin on it. So who wants to give you health for Christmas present? You know? That's it. That's another way to look at it. What else?
And I was just going to add on to that, Christy. Another thing is like, if you're talking to people and maybe right now isn't the time for whatever reason, you know, that's still an opportunity to stay connected. And if you're not talking to anyone right now, they might not ever come. But if you are talking to them and they're not signing up, that's okay. They're not saying no. They're just saying maybe after the first of the year, you know, that you've already gotten it out of the way. You're not having to talk to them after the first of the year. So, you know, they are still someone in your circle of influence, even if they aren't ready to throw their credit card today.
Mm-hmm. True. Alicia.
Well, I just was thinking what kind of how in opposite we are with thinking that you just got through saying how you save people money by doing this program. People really have saved money. And we know that's true. And we say, you know, it's cost neutral. It's just like buying your groceries at another grocery store. Well, what are they going to quit eating in December? I mean, you know, if anything, it probably saves them more money to do something like this. And then it gives them the gift of health, because do you know how packed restaurants are around this time of year? I mean, they're just there's a weight everywhere. So people are spending more money actually on eating out and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, I was just thinking, I mean, if we're posturing it that they're just shopping at another store, don't talk yourself out of that. I mean, if that's what you believe to be true, then it's true every month of the year. That people that save money they're probably going to save even more money at this time of year by doing the program. So I was just thinking about that. Thought I would throw that out there.
That was good thought. Yeah, because then they won't buy all that, baking stuff to bake all those treats and
Yep.
and pies and whatnot.
Yep.
Save them money that way.
Yep. They'll take healthy snacks to their work lounges and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Very true. Good. Anyone else?
All right, I got another one.
Okay.
Time management. I get home from work at night. Usually it's late. I cook dinner and it's like, oh my gosh, how am I going to have time to make this call, check my tracking volume, follow up on clients, yada, 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 yada. So time management gets me once in a while.
Okay. Hicks, do you want to say anything about that?
Sure. Do you use Gmail, Carrie?
I have a Gmail account and I have a MSN account. So
Okay. Well, connected with Gmail is your Google Calendar, and I know I did a couple of things with Google Calendar, and it's worked for a couple of coaches. Hold on a second, boys. Could you stop, please? Sorry, sidetracked. But when I started my own Gmail calendar, I have my personal calendar, and then I have a Take Shape calendar, and I make appointments on that calendar, and I plug them in, and then I make blocks of time where I know that I can make calls, and I know that each of my interested calls, I allow 25 minutes, because it may only take 15, but then I get a moment to go get a cup of water or something in between, and I have a short break. If it runs long, then it runs long. But by actually seeing it on the calendar and blocking my time out appropriately, I run 9 restaurants. I have 2 very active boys, and I'm involved with a lot of their stuff. Amid a whole bunch of other things, if I see that I have made time for this on my calendar and I actually schedule what that time is for, then I'm more likely to sit down and actually use that time, and I can make it when I want it. You're going to be doing dinner from this time to that time. My husband works out of town. I'm basically a single mom. So, I know I'm the same thing. We come home, we have this, we have that. I have to cook dinner. We have homework, we have baths, we have beds. So when do I do it all? But if I just take a couple of days of the week and carve out the time that I need and plug it in, and really detail out what it's for, then I'm most likely to follow up on my plan. And I also, another thing about time management is I don't know if you drive. I drive a lot with my job, and I make huge use of my time in my car for phone calls. So while you can't write a whole lot, if you pretty much know your script, you can have one sitting there. And if you know your script, I do a lot of my interested script calls while I'm driving. It's a lot easier for me to listen. I actually listen more because I'm driving. I talk less and listen more. So, if you can make use of time in the car too, I think that's kind of gigantic. So I don't know, Christy, are you thinking of anything else you wanted me to talk about?
No, that was good. That was good.
Okay, so I know you made a comment that your interested scripts, 25 minutes or so. The problem that I've been running into is that clients just tend to want to talk and keep going and going. And so how do you try to posture that and cut that off politely so that you can move on to the next call or the next client or whatnot? Because I've noticed that happening too.
Yeah, when I do it, I ask the questions that are on the script, and if they start going into crazy amounts, like when they're telling me their story, I want the whole thing. Like, I don't want them to feel like I don't want to listen, and I don't, that I'm going to I don't want them to feel cut off at all. But when it comes to other things, at the end, when I'm kind of closing, I'll say, okay, you know what? This has been, even if they're talking, I'll be like, hey, I don't want to waste a whole lot more of your time. I mean, we've been on the phone for like 30 you really want to know about, because I'm happy to answer your questions. But, in respect of your time and mine, we're going to have to wrap it up. And nobody's ever been offended. I mean, if they have logical, great questions, great. But if they're just going on and on and on and on, I've had no problem. I think that they know. I don't know. They used to be really, really, really long. And over time, I think somehow I've just gotten better at not interrupting them, but kind of wrapping them up a little bit more quickly, being able to maybe ask another question that just requires a yes or no answer and then jumping right back in. Christy or Kelly, Alicia, I don't know.
I would say too that if you got a sense that this is going to be a long drawn out, like a talker, right? I would say like 20 minutes into it, you're going to want to tell them, I love what you're saying and it's all important and, whatever. But I just want to let you know I have another call in 10 minutes. So I want to get to all the important parts before I have to go. So, just kind of give them a heads up that you got to go, even if you don't have another call is what I'm saying. Like just preface that, to let them know that.
And then one thing I might say is if they start just asking, because a lot of them will interrupt me and go, well, what about the food? When you're in the first part of the three-legged stool, you're in the support part and they're going, well, but the food, how much does it cost? And I'll just say, you know what? I'm going to tell you about all of that. So let me just get through some things. And then at the end, if I haven't answered all your questions, I'll be happy to answer your questions, but I bet I'm going to cover most of it.
Perfect.
So
Perfect.
Maybe that helps.
Does that help, Carrie? Okay. And you don't have to, you have the weekend too, if you want to utilize it. Like if you are so busy during the week that you can't fit this in, maybe you carve out a couple hours Saturday morning, and that's when you do it. The best part about this is you get to do it when it works for you. So you just have to find that when that is.
I've done a lot of interested calls sitting at soccer practice in my car.
Mm-hmm.
Just literally whenever I have 20 minutes just doing nothing, that's my best time.
Good. Anything else?
Can I add a thought?
Yeah.
Carrie, I just was thinking that, and this connects exactly with what Katie is saying, but I'm not sure if you already do this or not, and I'm reading this book that kind of explains why this works for our brain. But if you take a look at your day and your schedule and you chunk it out, like Katie was saying, and then you kind of prioritize and make commitments to how much time and what you want to do, but you kind of have to look at that on a daily basis, and then just stay true to the schedule that you set, and try not to let like a million other things distract you during the time that you set aside. And so my guess is that's how Katie does all the things that she does, dials in, and that chunk of time is devoted to that one thing that's on the calendar. But you really have to kind of look at it every day. And if you only have 30 minutes at night or every other night you're spending whatever time, it's kind of like it can be so broad that you have so much to do, you don't know where to start. And so then you get distracted with all the normal kid dinner and all that. But if you focus it and funnel it down to just a few things, or maybe even one thing that you want to make sure you accomplish that day, then it doesn't seem so time consuming. Does that make sense? So those are just my couple of things that I've been kind of working on myself, always working on myself. So thought I would share.
Good. Anything else on that topic? Okay.
Sorry, I couldn't get unmuted fast enough. The only other thing I would add is the 5 a.m. club. If you're really wanting to accomplish things, like I would always do my emails, frontline volume tracking, all of that stuff at 5 a.m. and it's done. It's out of the way, you know? And I know it sucks. It was early. It was really, really early. But I wanted it bad enough. So that was, for me, that worked. I could get up at 5, and from 5 to 5:45, I did emails, frontline volume tracking. I would even maybe go in and do some shape up stuff early in the morning. And then the evening time, I would do my calls and stuff when people were available.
Yeah, I'm part of the 5 a.m. club, but I'm doing my workout then.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a good thing to do too. An awesome thing to do at 5 a.m.
Yes, it is. Good. Those were good. Okay. Any other questions? Red lights? Okay, I want to bring up one more topic that people might have. I'm seeing some faces here, though, that I know already have green lights about this. But just in case those that are listening or those of you that are on here that have maybe a little red light thinking, I want to talk about the Fisk event and any red light thinking that you guys have about that. We can just bring up right now, or I'm going to have some people share their experiences for you.
I have one. So my red light thinking on the Fisk event is, okay, so if everything in the most perfect of worlds all lined up and it all happened perfectly, my calendar for Take Shape for Life on top of my other full-time job and everything else would look like Fisk event, Cancun, or Cancun Fisk event. I can't remember which way it goes. Go Global, convention, like I'm just going, it's all between like April and July, right? There's just a lot of them. There's a lot of training. And I know how worth it every single one of them is. That's my problem. Like, I've been to 2 trainings this year. Unbelievable. My business grew and exploded after each one. So I am not downing the fact. I want to be at every single one of them. My red light thinking is, does my job, my day job allow that? And funding, all of those things. It's a lot in that little block of time. That's my red light thinking.
That's legit. That's legit. Well, the Fisk event is not something that you've experienced yet, Katie, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
It's a little different than a corporate event. And we'll come back to that real quick. Cancun, that's just awesome, and that's afterwards. That's the March 10th or 7th through the 10th or whatever. That's free. If you make that, it's all go, right? It's all green lights. Then Go Global used to be, has been in the past for all EDs and above. This year it's in April. It's at the end. I can't remember the dates off the top of my head, but it's in Tucson. However, I don't know that it's going to be ED and above this year. I don't know if it's just going to be EDs with structure or FIBICs. So I have no idea. And then convention, right? So once you have been around a while and you have a team, I think another way to look at this is not just for yourself, but to be the leader of your little growing team that you want to bring to these events with you, because you're taking them and showing them an experience that they've never had. And just as amazing it was for you to go to your first event, you get to see that through the eyes of your team, which is so cool. So cool when you're taking someone to their first event. So just to put that spin on it. But let's talk about the Fisk event a little bit, about how it's different. Alicia, would you like to share, like, from your first Fisk event?
Sure. Well, and that's the thing, is that, you know, they are all not created equal. So every Fisk event is always a personal development. And every time she has one, it's something totally different. And then the second, based on where you are, you know, with health coaching. So, you know, one year it was Mike Dooley, and he is one of the authors of The Secret. Kelly, yeah, you're kicking yourself, are you, for missing him? But we didn't know you yet. So anyway, then 2 years ago, it was Weldon Long. And, you know, at that point in my life, for me, listening to Weldon Long, and Christy's mad because her sister got married that weekend. And I came back and told her, honestly, it completely changed my life. And I just, timing is everything. And the people that I took with me felt the exact same way. I don't know how to explain it other than taking forever, which you don't have all night tonight, but just it made me a better health coach, a better wife, a better mother, a better person at my day job. Everything, my whole outlook on things and what was possible for me, and what I could let go of, and how I could move forward and be better and be whatever I wanted to be, just completely changed. Because looking at it through his eyes and listening to him talk about his strategies, it was awesome. And so the people that she brings are just amazing people that we can learn so much from. And Katie, I feel this exact same way. I was balancing. I was like praying it wasn't on state swim meet, weekend, and I'm balancing, dance competition weekends and a day job that I have only so many days off work I can have. But, I just looked at it and I thought, how can I go? What's the least amount of days that I can miss work? And I'm not going to worry about Go Global right now, because that's, not the next thing in front of me. And I know I don't want to miss this one. So if I can get there, I'm going to figure out how to get there, which I already did. I will have to take off 2 days of work instead of 1, which is a bummer, but you know what? It's going to work out. It'll be fine. And so I already have my plane ticket. I'm really excited.
Good.
So anything else you wanted me to say? I don't know.
No, that's good. Nope, that was good. Thank you.
I can add one more thing, is that this is the only event that it is just the FISC team, where we are all together everywhere we go, the hotel, the convention, the dinners. It's just our team. And when we go to, convention, our team is awesome, but they are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And so some of the people that have just been, inspirations to me and awesome, health coach family members that we've met over the years and we've grown and learned together. This is really the only time that you get to kind of jump in and meet all the people that are on all these high five calls and ED2B calls and that are in our Facebook groups. So this is kind of like our family reunion, and there is nothing like it. So, convention is awesome. Go Global is awesome. And I don't want to miss those either, but this one I will not miss no matter what.
Awesome. Kelly, do you want to share your first experience?
Sure, I can. I was a brand new coach, so this wouldn't have been in 2014, but 2013. And I did not have very many clients, and I did not know Christy Brune. Other than talking to her on the phone. We didn't have Zoom, so I didn't even see her face. Like, I did not know her. And she was like, well, what if you could go? And I'm like, yeah, I can't. Well, just what if you could? Yeah, I can't. Nope, can't do it. I was totally opposed to it, but she's pretty persistent. So I ended up going, and I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I had not met anyone, nobody. And so I went, and I had a horrible time getting there. Flights delayed and no luggage and washing my clothes in the hotel sink, that kind of bad flight out there. My kid got in trouble on the way out there. I showed up in tears. I was late. It was bad. So I remember sitting there with my head down thinking, oh, I'm just ready to go back home. And I caught the energy in the room, and it was when, Kim got up on stage and she had us all be quiet together and think about what we really wanted in life. And I just felt a connection like I had never felt before. And I saw people being so happy, and I was so not happy yet. I wasn't there yet. I was not a miserable person, but I hadn't lost much weight. I wasn't that happy about being a coach. It was cool, but wasn't like what I was going to do for the rest of my life. And so I caught this just feeling of acceptance and warmth and love. And, you know, the speakers were incredible. The people were incredible. The time that we spent together outside of training can't be replaced ever. You know, I mean, it was amazing. And I came home from that event and went ED my next month, told my husband I'd quit my job someday, and here we are. So, you know, I'd have to say it was life-changing. My kids always say I come back from events a better mother. So it doesn't just impact me as a health coach, it impacts me as a person.
That was a good story, and it's all true. It's all true. So yeah, I mean, it's great for your business, but it's really good for yourself, no matter where you are in your life, what you're struggling with. You know, we have stinking thinking about our business, but there's that stinking thinking about your life too. And, you know, when you're down and things aren't going the way you want them to. And this, wherever you are, I can't tell you what you would get out of it, because it just really depends on where you are with all the other things going on for you. But you'll get a lot out of it, more than you'll ever know. And I can't tell you unless you go, and then you can tell us. So I hope you guys, everyone listening to Playback 2, just don't, if you're not booked yet and you haven't gotten your flight and you're still on the fence, just be open to thinking about it. Like, what if I did go? Like, don't say no, but what if I did go? What would need to happen? Where would the kids go? If I got time off of work, where would the money come from? Like, just chunk it out. What if I did go? What would need to happen? And then talk to your mentor coach and let them know, and let's put it out there to the universe, and let's see what can happen, because I'd hate for you guys to miss out on this. And so I just wanted to posture that strongly, that it is life-changing for everyone in a different way. It's going to be life-changing for you if you come. So on that note, thank you guys for being here. I know we went a little long tonight, so thanks for hanging in there with us. We had some great stuff at the end. So see you, and have a great week. And just remember, don't get caught up on getting clients. It's all about making connections, and good things will happen. Okay. See you guys. Bye.